This thing just came in my mailbox. Actually, I think this is a better representation. And I'm so late to the party that I might as well not do a traditional review where I talk about the ports and the processor and the RAM on the Anbernic RG35XX H. I figured that a way better approach would be to just focus on the user experience of this thing. These are cheap devices. Let's get one thing straight. You can find this for like $65 to $62 if you look hard enough. I got this particular one from AliExpress. When we talk about devices like these, we should adjust our expectations. Comparing this thing with a Retroid Pocket 4 Pro is like comparing a cute but very scruffy alley kitten with a freaking tiger. For some people, the kitten might be cuter, but who the heck are we to judge? So to put things as bluntly as possible, you should treat this as a slightly more performant Miyoo Mini with thumbsticks. Because really, this is the highlight of the show. The fact that this mother flipper has thumbsticks. Oh, and not to mention the horizontal form factor. A lot of people, me included, have always said that the horizontal form factor is way more comfortable on the arms, and horizontal handhelds do have their benefits. For example, you don't cover the screen even one bit when you do your things and you press the buttons and blah blah blah, and your hands don't have to be so close together and you won't get any cramps in your wrists. On vertical handhelds, you do have to adopt the crab position. This will eventually become uncomfortable for some, but I am a big proponent of the fact that we get used to this position and it more or less becomes natural for us, and we can game for hours and hours or until our eyes give out and we end up being blind and we lose the ability to make money, so we live under a bridge and then we end up giving favors to people for $5. But until then, we are able to play vertical handhelds as well as horizontal handhelds. But what I really loved about this is the extra processing power. This thing can play Dreamcast to a fairly decent extent. I'm saying decent because it's still not perfect, but I did try a few games like Crazy Taxi, which worked way better than I expected, and House of the Dead 2, which was... well, I played House of the Dead 1 when I was a kiddo, but House of the Dead 2 is okay as well. Both of them ran way better than I expected at 1x, and they held 30 frames per second most of the time, which is something that you can never hope on the Miyoo Mini. And you can play some PSP games as well. GTA Vice City Stories doesn't hold a consistent frame rate, which for me totally destroys the experience, but there were some other games like Pac-Man that played quite well as Ridge Racer, Tekken 5, Tekken 6, and a few others. These all were a very pleasant surprise. But outside of this, there's one thing that kept holding this device back, even though the hardware is quite good, minus some drawbacks that I'm gonna talk about when I'm gonna compare it with the Miyoo Mini in a future clip. But overall, I love the freaking hardware of this thing. The layout and how the buttons feel is, in my opinion, simply amazing for this price point. I like the fact that the thumbsticks don't actually protrude out of the main casing too much, which makes it way more pocketable than I expected. And overall, this can be a very nice and portable pocketable system that you can carry along. Of course, this is in direct competition with the Miyoo Mini, so make sure to subscribe and to follow this freaking channel, which is still growing, by the way, not unlike a baby bird, and we need to not let this baby bird die. Each subscription is a tiny seed that we feed the baby bird with, and without seeds, the baby bird will die, and you're not a baby bird killer, are you? Are you a monster? So the Anbernic RG35XX H has a lot of things going for it, but there's one thing holding this back, and this will eventually be resolved in time, but we're not there yet. And I'm of course talking about the freaking software. Look, I'm not the kind of guy to give you fluff or to go around the topic just to make a long clip, but this software is mediocre at best. It doesn't compare to Onion OS even in the slightest. You don't have sleep functionality. When you put it to sleep, it basically just turns off the screen, and if you forget about it for a couple of days, then the battery will be dead. And right now, most custom firmwares for this are either in alpha or they still need a lot of work to be put into them. We have Batacera, for example, which is in alpha, which I wouldn't recommend right now, and we of course have Garlic OS 2.0, which again is in alpha. So right now, if you buy it, I guess the most stable way of playing this thing is to just sit on the stock firmware, which is confusing to say the least. It really feels like this was made by two developers that kept fighting all the time when it came to design decisions, because we have a category for RetroArch games, which organizes the categories by console like this, and we have game rooms, which is basically the same thing with the same games and the same consoles, just organized a bit differently. And when you press the menu button, you get served different menus in each, but they are functionally more or less the same. And this is confusing as all hell. Why did they do this? This is one console. It should have one user experience. You shouldn't duplicate menus. This is... I don't want to say idiotic, because I do want Anbernic to eventually send me review devices. Anbernic, we can be friends. I can be a very good friend. Send me devices. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But you shouldn't have two user experiences on the same freaking device. This is not how you make a good product. Jesus Christ, people. But overall, I do see this device as becoming exceptional to use once we have decent custom firmware, which objectively shouldn't take that long by this point. So, would I recommend this? Of course. It's just a bit more expensive than the Miyoo Mini, and the Miyoo Mini, no matter how much I love this device, it's starting to show its age. This can simply play way more systems than this right now, but this offers an amazing user experience and amazing mature custom firmware. But I'm gonna compare these two in a future video, so stick around for that. So if you want to pick one of these babies up, there's links for this in the description. If you want to support me, you can use those links. They are affiliate links. And just a quick announcement for all you fine people. Now you can help this channel out by becoming a channel member. You can just press the join button or underneath the video. Right now, as of filming this, I have 0 channel members. So each channel member that pops up will make me so freaking happy, I cannot even describe. So basically, if you loved the Miyoo Mini Plus, pick one of these up, links in the description, and by the time it arrives from China, most probably custom firmware at a decent rate of maturity will already be available. If you're still around, thanks for watching, I love you a lot, and I'll see you next time.